Live from Lagos, this is Lunchtime Politics. I'm Jeffrey Uzama, bringing you up to speed with the big happenings in politics. And in the polity, let's get to the headlines. People's Democratic Party Governors Forum distances itself from any political coalition or merger ahead of 2027, proposes May for NEC and National Convention for August, refuses to recognize Sam Anyanwu as the National Secretary. Over 100 persons murdered in less than 2 weeks across Bokos and Bassa local government areas of Plateau State. So what exactly is happening on the Plateau? The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Gabriel Dewan, joins me on the program to break it down. Thanks again for joining us on the program. Let's get started with the happenings across the country. But we'll start from Ibadan. Just yesterday, the PDP Governors Forum, they met and they made a couple of decisions, and one of which is distancing themselves from any talks of coalition or merger. While they were speaking to newsmen, the chairman of the forum and governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, noted that the group has resolved to strengthen its influence to wrestle power from the ruling All Progressives Congress come 2027. There were a couple of other decisions as well, including the nomination or the recognition of a Deputy National Secretary to act in the place of Sam Anyanwu, which has gotten reactions from their camp. Let's take a listen to Governor Bala Mohammed.
The forum resolved that the PDP will not join any coalition or merger. However, the PDP, as a major opposition party, welcomes any party, persons or groups that are willing to join it with a view to wresting power and enthroning good leadership in 2027. The forum reasserts our collective determination to avert a rape of our constitutional democracy, hence the decision of approaching the Supreme Court to give a clear-cut verdict on the interpretation of the provision of the law on the declaration of state of emergency in any state of the Federation.
And away from the politics, let's talk about what's playing out in Plateau. It's literally been a carnage, but the president has now condemned it in strong terms with this latest set of killings, which has claimed over 50 lives, according to the last record. The president extended his sympathies to Governor Caleb Motwang, the state government, and the people of Plateau, while urging him to summon the necessary political will to resolve the crisis and establish enduring peace. In a statement by spokesperson Bayo Nanuga, the president has instructed security agencies to thoroughly investigate the crisis and identify those responsible for orchestrating the violence. Now, in his words, the president said, beyond dealing with the criminal elements of these incessant killings, the political leadership in Plateau State, led by the governor, must address the root cause of this age-long problem. These problems have been with us for more than 2 decades. We can no longer ignore the underlying issues. It is time to tackle them fairly and finding a lasting solution. As I have discussed this problem with the governor over time and offered suggestions for lasting peace. While calling for harmony among the people of Plateau State, the president emphasized the importance of love and unity beyond the religious and ethnic lines. Let's even drill down further. The leadership at the subnational level, the governor himself, Caleb Motwang, is appealing to the residents of the state to avail security agencies with information that will avert further bloodshed across the state. The governor made the appeal while addressing reporters after an emergency security meeting to review the latest attacks.
In the meantime, I want to reassure the people of Plateau State that we are truly on top of this situation and will go to any length to be able to forestall further occurrence. At the moment, I'd like to encourage our people all over the state that please, whatever intelligence you pick up, no matter how irrelevant you think it is, please do let us know. We are ready to protect the source of our information so that no life will be in jeopardy.
Assurances yet again coming from the governor. But perhaps we've heard this before, and yet this incident happened. We're so worried right now to the effect that what if it happens again? What exactly will now happen? The age-long issue around the plateau. So I'm going to be speaking with the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, which leads an arm of government, the legislature, Mr. Gabriel Dewan. He joins us virtually from just the Plateau State capital. Honorable Speaker, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeff. Thank you, Nigerians, and thank you, listeners.
Just before I throw in my first question, if you can see, I want to show a bit of detail from Beacon Consulting, a security consulting company led by Mr. Kabiru Adamu. Some things he's done in terms like the heat map of Plateau State as far as those incidents is concerned, more like the Plateau fatality overview in 2025 alone. So if my producer can put that up so we can see exactly what we're dealing with. Now, some of these numbers have increased over time. So if my producer can put up that fatality overview for me, you can see that places like Bokos and Bassa, which are the biggest high points at the moment as we speak, are bigger concern or the biggest concern, but other things have happened. So that's like a bit of a heat map of Plateau State as we speak. So you can see some are in deep red, places like Bokos and Bassa, and we have just north, just south, just east, Berkin-Ladi, Mangu, Wase, Kwanampan, Shendam, and all of these places, one death or the other, trickling down to over 100 people killed in just about less than 4 months in the year 2025. I will start with you, Honorable Speaker, with a generic question. What is happening on the plateau?
Well, Mr. Jeff, just as worried as you are, that's how all of us on the plateau are so worried. You see, it's a thing of concern that is very unfortunate that Plateau State as a state is situated in the heartbeat of the country, in the central Nigeria. It will interest you to know that Plateau State do not share border with any country. And for some of us, as leaders of Plateau, what get us up and worried always is, one began to worry, how does these criminals, these terrorists, maneuver or manage to come into Plateau with these weapons at our borders and kill our people, armless farmers at will? You begin to wonder, Plateau share borders with no any country for us to start thinking, how did they smuggle in these weapons? So that get many of us worried. And for some of us, I'm speaking as an individual, I felt there's more of a conspiracy, because what is happening on the plateau is nothing less than a genocide. And the genocide in the sense that this is a targeted attacks, killing our people. In some communities, they kill the people and occupy their houses, take over those communities. And in that kind of scenario, one begin to have nothing to say than to say, this is a calculated attempt on land grabbing to kill the people and take away our lands. And when you look at what is happening on the plateau, it happens seasonally, mostly when farming season is about to start. Mostly, if you observe what is happening on the plateau, anytime when farming season is to begin, these marauders will come in to start threatening our people, scaring them, killing us to stop us from farming. When people manage to farm, the same people come and destroy the crops. At times, they even harvest some of the crops that the farmers have also farmed too. So sincerely, for me, I think it's beyond rhetoric. When I read some of the commentators talking about finding lasting solution, coming to the table with who? Finding solution with who? Because to the best of my knowledge, as a speaker of this state, there was no any history where Plateau communities had clashes with any ethnic group or any set of people. This is just people who come overnight, kill our people, burn houses, and go away. So it's a thing of worry. What I can say now is that I'm appealing to the federal government under the leadership of our capacitated President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to give directive to the security chiefs and all those that matters to come into the plateau and clear the bushes and the boundaries. And I think that is the only solution we're left with, because our people are dying. We is enough of this rhetorics, all these condolences, all this we condemn. When you look at it critically, since this is happening, you have not had any press release from my table, because our people are sick and tired of condemnation day in, day out. We condemn today, after 1, 2, 3 weeks, people are about to settle down. Another one happened when people are so it's getting out of hand. It's a thing of audit. It's a thing of audit.
I can infer from I can see the frustration and expect, and it's quite frustrating, to be very honest, to see people dying like chickens. Literally, these are human lives. It's depressing to see. But we have a government. We have a government both at the local, state, and national level. So let me read the response of the federal government that you're calling on, which has thrown the ball back into the court of the state government. And these were the words of the president in this release concerning this incident. He said, beyond dealing with the criminal element of these incessant killings, the political leadership in Plateau State, led by Governor Caleb Mutfwang, must address the root cause of these age-long problems. These problems have been with us for more than 2 decades. We can no longer ignore the underlying issues. It is time to tackle them fairly and finding a lasting solution. I have discussed these problems with the governor over time and offered suggestions for lasting peace. Are you privy to some of the suggestions of the president, and what could they be? Because now he's saying, solve the problem, have the political will. What exactly do you think the president means by all of this?
Well, you know, I'm a speaker. I'm from the legislative arm. The governor is the chief security officer. But you see, as a speaker today, I could have agreed 100% with such directive if the governor or if Plateau State have state policing, where the governor is totally in control, that can give marching orders. But you know how our constitution operates. You know how our system works in this country, where the governor himself don't have constitutional power over the securities. The securities apparatus of the country have been managed by the federal government. Perhaps it is the president that have the constitutional power to direct the security chiefs to relocate to Plateau to fish out these marauders or bandits. For me, you see what is happening on the Plateau. They have given them names. Some call them terrorists, some call them militias, some call them bandits. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not profiling any ethnic group, because criminality don't know tribe, don't know religion. But what we are facing on the Plateau now, without missing what I can tell you for free, people that are killing our people are Fulani terrorists. But get me right, I'm not saying that all Fulanis are terrorists, and I cannot say that. But the presently what is happening on the Plateau, those killing our people are Fulanis. What I cannot say is, I don't know whether there's any political undertone on it, but I don't want us to politicize this.
So,
reason being that when these people come in the night to kill our people, they don't ask whether you are PDP, whether you are APC, whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian. Anybody find within that vicinity, they killed and they maim. So you see, I don't like going political when it comes to these issues of killing on the Plateau. Like many people are playing politics with it. I'm totally against it, because everybody is suffering. Everybody is suffering. Some of the people are even visitors. Yeah, some travel to visit that community and they fall victim.
So, if you allow me, it appears we're back to that conversation about indigenes and settlers problem here. If it is, as you've alluded, that it is Fulani militia, Fulani whoever, is it difficult to come to the table? So what exactly do they want? Is it that they want to share the land, or they want to take over the land? Has there been any form of conversation? Because this will eventually end on the conversation table, because people are dying, and this is totally unacceptable. And we have to be brutally honest. If there is the bad element of ethnic nationalities pushing it, how do we address it without politicizing it? Because it's politicization of this thing that is making us to shy away from the truth.
Jeffrey, let's ask ourselves this simple question. You only come to one table with people that you know them. These people are people that come in the night like thieves with the mission of killing, burning, destroying, and go away. You see, that's where the question of how comes about the weapons these people used. How comes about the free movement they move within the borders of Plateau and Kaduna, Plateau and Nasarawa, and so on. You begin to wonder, with the number of checkpoints we have across this country, a harmless citizen will travel, you'll be stopped on the way. 1, 2, 3, uncountable checkpoints. And I said earlier, Plateau State don't share border with any country. Plateau State is in the middle of this country. And if this happens on the Plateau, I can tell you for free that even Abuja is not safe. As a federal capital territory, is not also safe. Because for me, I believe that let's not think of politicizing it in the sense that you can only come to round table with people that you know them, people that you have in one way or the other share the same belief with them. If maybe you have had crisis or you have had disagreement, then okay, look, come. What is the problem? But these are people that will just come over the night, kill, maim, and destroy and go away.
Honourable Speaker, just a moment. Both from you and the governor. I've listened to the governor a couple of times. He's the one that disclosed that some communities, about 60 or so, have been taken over. We just played the recent one where he talked about the fact that if you have information, please avail the authorities and security agencies so that you can be helped. He's saying we're going to do our best to make sure we're on top of the issue. These are just rhetorics, recurrent rhetorics time again. There's nothing strong, there's nothing assuring. If I listen to everybody in government in Plateau, said nothing assuring. It looks like even the government looks helpless. So if that is the energy, permit me to use the word, the vibe in that sense, what do you think? People are suggesting that people should be armed as well to protect themselves. What drastic measure has to happen for people to stop being killed?
Well, for me, as a Speaker of Plateau House of Assembly, the best thing we want today is state policing, where the indigents, the youths of the state who know the terrain, who know this exit and entrance of every villages in this state should be recruited and trained and protect our land. We are having situation whereby some of these conventional security personnel, they have been doing their best in this state. To be fair to them, they have been doing their best, and we commend them, and I will continue to commend them. But in some instances, they are not familiar with the terrain, and they always say it too. They always complain that they are not familiar with Plateau terrain. You know, Plateau is a very, very rocky. We have a very rocky terrain in some places, and sometimes if you bring a military from Ogun or from Imo, for instance, and bring him to Plateau, you don't know the entrance and the exit of most of those communities. While these terrorists are people who stay in those hills, who stay in those mountains, where they used to rear their cattle. They know all the exit and the entrance, and they come in at will and kill and go away. That is why we are appealing for state policing, where our youths will be recruited and will be trained, and they will know the exit and the entrance of every community, and they will man the security of those communities in collaboration with the conventional securities. We are not saying that we need state policing so that the conventional security will go. No, there should be collaboration where those state police personnel, where there are more of indigents, will be the one to be guiding the conventional securities on the entrance and the exit of some of those terrorists, and that will help us a lot, because people are dying. People are dying. Small children are being massacred like animals. For crying out loud, foodstuffs are being destroyed, are being bombed. What are we talking about? What are we doing in office? As a speaker, as a young man that I am at 32 years, what am I doing in office? If I go back to my concern and my people are being killed, who is going to elect me? Who am I even leading in the first place? Who am I even leading? Who am I even representing? Who am I even presiding for crying out loud?
Honourable Speaker, I'm sure that the government, you are also the government. We're going to explore this issue, but we're going to take a quick break. I'm just looking up to realize that the 3rd Division of the Nigerian Army is in Jos. Am I correct?
Yes.
And all of this is still happening. So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to also tell you some of the things that professionals have said that the drivers and some of the direction we can go. But we'll take a quick break. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We're still exploring what exactly is going on the plateau, with more deaths in less than 2 weeks. Total number over 100 people murdered on the plateau in Bokos and Bassa local government areas. The Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, is my guest, has been expressing literal frustration as to what exactly is going on in his state. But Honorable Gabriel Dewan, thank you for staying with us. But let me also bring some will I call it, not narrative now, some excerpt in terms of what experts may be calling part of the drivers, because what you have talked about looks like a more of defend yourself, more militarized approach in that sense. But they say some of the drivers of what is going on the plateau is multifaceted: socioeconomic hardship, environmental degradation, poor land governance, ethno-religious tensions, collapse of justice and accountability, weak institutional support for peace building. This is according to Beacon Consulting. But there's something they wrote here that I would like to read to you and your response. So the dominant response remains militarized, with minimal effort invested in healing wounds, resolving root causes, or building inclusive and just governance structures. Force alone cannot foster lasting peace. Do you agree?
I beg to disagree, because to the best of my knowledge, I beg to disagree because to the best of my knowledge, I'm not privy of any existing problem in regard to what you just read, unless the author of that particular comment you just read have more to tell us. You see, as I said earlier, for me, I don't believe that these ongoing attacks have anything to do with religion, has anything to do with politics. The reason is very simple. These people come in the night. I beg to say this. They come in the night, and when they come, they didn't ask whoever you are. They didn't ask which tribe you belong. They didn't ask which party you belong. They didn't ask which religion you belong. When they come, anybody found within their targeted environment, they maim, they killed, they wipe away. You see, that is the more reason why I'm saying that we shouldn't politicize this. This is about the lives of our electorates. This is about the lives of the citizenry. People use politics on attacks like this that I begin to cry. I weep for my generation. If anybody we want to score any cheap political capital out of this, the present governor we have on the plateau, to be fair to him, since he took over the mantle of leadership May 2023, he has put all the necessary effort to see that this attacks is being curtailed. We enjoyed some peace for some period of time, but very unfortunate that we're about to go back to those gloomy days again. And you see, what some of us are feeling is that the governor alone cannot achieve this. Even the president alone cannot achieve this without the cooperation of all of us. And that is why we're saying that let's have state policing. When we say let's have state policing, we're not saying that we want to be on our own. No, we're only saying that since the conventional securities have been trying their best, but result is not coming out, let's have state police where indigenes, those who stay within those communities, will be recruited, will be trained, and they will man those communities. That's just what we're asking for. Not as if we're saying that we don't believe in the conventional securities. Not as if we're saying that we don't believe in the federal government. Not as if we're saying that we don't believe in the effort of the security chiefs and others. But what we're saying is that since this has been happening for decades, let's try another means. That's all what we ask for.
All right, Honorable Speaker, apparently I think I totally agree with you that whatever has been done is not enough, because effort is different from result. The result is showing that it's not enough. People are being killed. In less than 2 weeks, over 100 people. That's literal carnage. That's why it's called, some people are referring to it as genocidal and all of that. It's a very difficult situation. And we want peace on the plateau. Plateau is a beautiful place, given the nature, what nature has done to the plateau. We must thank you and keep the conversation going. And we hope that people are not going to be killed yet again. The Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly.
Before then, I have something to say, very important.
10 seconds, please. We're totally out of time.
Please, I'm appealing to the federal government that our Air Force personnel should engage in this attacks more than the land army, because these people move in groups on motorbikes. And I think our Air Force fighter jets will do us a hell lot of good than all these land armies in some of these attacks. It will help us a lot by tracking them, using drones to track their location in those forests.
All right,
to fight
Honorable
them.
Speaker,
I think that will also help us.
I think that point is noted. Gabriel Dewani, the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you so much.
And just before we go, I can tell you that following the flurry of protests in support and against the ongoing state of emergency in Rivers State, a coalition of civil society organizations and youth groups have condemned the ongoing situation in the state, and the spokesperson of the group are calling for a review of the emergency rule.
To have you here today. Here with us, or here seated before. The state has been peaceful all this while, even the declaration of state of emergency. The security apparatus should understand that someone was the security officer of the state, which is the governor, and he was suspended, and the state was calm. They should know that that is the body language of the governor, because he wants peace for the state and his people. We wouldn't want a situation whereby protests will start be, sponsored to cause mayhem in the state. Before the declaration of state of emergency, there was a bomb blast that erupted the oil pipelines, and they tagged it to be the governor. We all know that the governor will not do such a thing.
And that's it on the program. Thank you so much for your time and company. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.